place of beauty, history, and corruption. Today we're taking a deeper look into Ugandan presidential hopeful Bobi Wine.
Welcome to the first episode of our show, Leave Africa Alone. My name is Joe.
And my name is Billy.
We need Africa to become a stable, viable place because it's just simply better for the world. Most of us complain about immigration of Africans to Western countries, yet corporate interests drive the continent into constant instability. The resources of Africans have been looted for centuries by greed without any single concern for the people. We cannot be saying Black Lives Matter and show no concern for Africa, which is the center of Black lives.
Today on our new show series, Leave Africa Alone, we will be exposing to the world a new attempt to destabilize one of the most stable countries not only in Africa but the world. Corporate interests pretending to be concerned about democracy and human rights are practically imposing an imposter on the people of Uganda. Not only are they imposing and propping up a complete novice, but they are also threatening a peaceful country with violence if they don't go along with their plans.
Today we want to have a look at Uganda's Bobi Wine, a complete European corporate interest toy boy who has never managed the affairs of a small province, but public relations companies working for these interests have turned him into a political star using Western media and social media. Objectively, we would want to showcase today, in the words of the same man, Bobi Wine, on why he is totally unfit to become president of the most important nation in Africa, for the peace and security of the African people. We will be looking in his own words expressing his understanding of basic national issues such as security, job creation, economic development, foreign relations, patriotism to Uganda, strength of vision, and history of public service.
It is one thing to want to impose a new leader for a country and cause regime change, but it is another thing when the person you are bringing was not vetted in the very least concerning any ability to run the affairs of a country. So we look at 7 reasons why Bobi Wine, in his own words, tells you why he is completely unqualified to be president of any African nation, let alone the most important one. The most important job of any government is security of lives and property. So let us hear from him on this issue, Joe.
Let's take a look at that video.
But our promise is to pay at least a minimum of 1 million shillings to the soldiers, the police officers, and this will take immediate effect.
Kandi ekyo ekitukuragaanisa tuzakushashura abasirikale omumahe omupoliisi omubihome at least sente zitaransi y'akakiikuru kamwe kandi ekyo kyo nikiza kubaho immediately aho naawe tuweza kutaho mu office.
This is because the money is there and we know it.
Nakugira ngu esente ziriho kandi nitumanya ngu esente ziriho.
I said that money is there and we know it.
Kandi esente.
How can anyone be president of a country and know absolutely nothing about security of lives and property? He's also constantly avoiding the topic. He will never offer any ideas of his plan to keep the nation in peace and security.
Yes, simply because he was sent by corporate interests to bring chaos, not security. A nation that has had over 70 years of constant wars before the peace they have had in 34 years now, they want to use a clueless person to revert them back to wars?
You know, they have just discovered oil in large commercial quantities in Uganda for the first time ever. No wonder they want to destabilize it, so they loot the oil as they have done in countless African countries before. The second area is the area of job creation, a huge problem that exists all over Africa. He talks so much about fighting for jobless youth, so let us hear his plan to create jobs for these youths from the man himself.
Our promise to the young people of Uganda,
Ekiragaaniso kiitu aha minyeeto na n'abato omu Uganda.
to the youth of Uganda,
Eminyeeto abanya-Uganda.
our promise is that we shall ensure that we find meaningful employment opportunities for you.
Ntubaraganisa ngu tuza kubatungira emirimo erimu omugazu erimu ekishaju.
In our term of office,
Omu office yitu
before it expires,
etakahwireho
we undertake to create at least 5 million jobs.
tuza kurebeka ngu tuwahangaho emirimo etaransi y'obukikuru butano.
We shall do this by focusing our priorities and investing in technology and embarking on massive scales of industrialization.
Ekintu za kukikora tukuteekesera aha kuimprovinga ebya teknologiya nange ebya karimagezi na no kwongera amaani omu kutendekwa abantu bakatunga obukugu.
Wow, this is unbelievable. This guy does not understand that government is not responsible for job creation. Government is to create the environment through things like security for private sector to create the jobs. This is how all developed countries function.
Government cannot create enough jobs for the people. What a dummy. Wait, let's take a look at the third area and the most important thing from anyone seeking leadership position in any nation. Your vision for the people. Let's hear from the same Bobby Wine explain his vision for the country he wants to rule.
Here we go.
Well, your career as a musician. So what specifically do you want to change in Uganda? What are some of the policies that you would like to implement if you did get into a position to do so?
Well, it should be known that Uganda is not short of amazing policies. We have had very many propositions that have been well researched, intelligently thought through, and indeed presented.
He wants to be president and doesn't even have a vision for the nation he wants to lead. He couldn't even pretend to have a vision for them. He's telling you he is coming to enforce existing policies, so what exactly will he do differently to enforce? No answer.
This is just arrogance. He has been told by foreign interests that they have him covered, so he arrogantly just expects to win because his sponsors are from Europe. Again, let us hear from the man. Public relations firms sponsored by corporate interests have been promoting all over Western media. Let him talk to us on the fourth reason why he is nothing but an imposter, Joe. Here is Bobby Wine on economic development.
Currently, and have you been able to track what has happened over the years? Because when Museveni came in, it was said that there was 0% foreign direct investment, and then at some point it came to $1.2 billion in foreign direct investment. Then what happened?
Well, in Uganda, development and our economy has just been to the masses, just statistics, but realistically it does not reflect with the people.
This guy is just plain clueless. The present government has verifiably increased foreign direct investments into the country by over $1 billion. And he doesn't even understand what that means to economic development. A nation that is coming from a very primitive lifestyle and going into modernity can definitely not be allowed to be set back by this man and his corporate sponsors.
It is obvious, Joe, that the newly discovered oil is all they're interested in. They need to turn Uganda to war-torn Congo or South Sudan so they can freely milk their oil, and Bobby Wine is the gent to accomplish this goal. Let us hear from him on another important aspect of running a country, foreign relations. This is our fifth point, and what does he say on foreign policy plans, Joe? Let's watch the video.
Let's have a look.
Let's talk about the foreign policy, because then you talked about the Uganda-Rwanda issues. So in terms of foreign policy, what does your manifesto anchor on? What is your foreign policy?
Well, we intend to have harmonized relationships, good relationships, talk about the communities that we are engaged in, the East African community and other communities. We don't want these to be presidents' clubs. We want these to be fraternities of countries, nations working together, relating from sports to culture to politics to business, and we intend to respect that.
He will make foreign relations a fraternity, not a president's club. My goodness. Why did these corporate interests choose this dummy? Oh, it's because he's a musician, it's the age of reality, shares, likes on social media, and comments, so they chose a musician so that he can bring attention and create chaos. Yeah. Very clever. This is how they intend to bring instability to Africa.
Well, too bad it ends today with this powerful expose. Foreigners must leave Africa alone. As a person running to be president, how patriotic are you to Uganda and the cause of Uganda? You will be most shocked when you evaluate this imposter called Bobby Wine on the most basic aspect of anything required to govern a country. Basic patriotism to the country. Our sixth area is patriotism to Uganda.
He has made more negative comments about Uganda than any publication has ever made on Uganda. Something to think about.
Ultimately, if President Museveni tries to rig the election that he has been like he has been doing, then the people of Uganda will rise up and they will stop it.
Well, let me ask you about what you mean by that, because if you are blocked at the ballot box, what other ways will you seek to remove Museveni? And it's worth noting to our viewers that since independence in the 1960s, there has never been a peaceful transfer of power in Uganda.
The law as it is today permits me to vie for presidency, and if President Museveni tries to stop me from vying for the presidency, that will be another bridge that we shall cross when we get there.
But what you said a moment ago, that the people could rise up. Are you saying there could be an armed revolution against Museveni if your efforts at the ballot box are blocked?
I did not say people could rise up. I said people will rise up, because that is evident everywhere. They are tired of this operation and they will not take it any longer.